she opening up there?
Yeah.
Seeing all the dogs? Alrighty.
Okay.
So go ahead and I'm gonna just have you show me real quick what the sits and stuff. You can go back down to whatever your original number was.
Okay. Come on, 7.
Good. Raise. And did you try incorporating food, by the way?
I didn't.
Okay. But that's easier. I can see that.
She just never eats it when we're outside. I feel like she's
Too stressed?
so nervous, but I'll
Sure.
try it.
Yeah, no, if try it once, see what happens.
Okay.
I don't need it to like lure her into it. I just need it to like reinforce. Okay. So going to move forward. Add a girl. Good job.
Good girl, Kat. Good girl.
There we go. Add a girl. Good job. Tap, tap. Yep.
She did something. We just shoot dinner today.
Sure. So here, what we're gonna do. Is you've done a great job.
Thank you.
But
But
what we need is a bit more assertiveness, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to show you here. We're at 61.
okay.
Tap, 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 tap. 73, tap, tap, tap. 90, tap, tap, tap. 105, tap, tap, tap. Tap, add a girl.
Okay.
70. Tap. Good girl.
All right.
Good.
And me.
Yep. Yes. Tap, 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 tap. Good. 116.
Okay.
From 70.
Okay.
Back down again. 75.
Okay.
Should do it. Tap. Tap, tap. Tap. There we go. Get it, girl. Good job. Good. Yep. Good. Good girl. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Yeah, the girl. Good job. Look at you. Do a couple more. Yep. Yeah. And I'll explain why in a moment. Tap, 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 tap. Good girl. Bring that head up. There you go. Look at you. Yes, I know. I know. You got it. Ready? Yo.
You just sense that feeling really well.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Look at that energy. So now I got some resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl. 104.
Okay.
Good girl. I know. You got it. You got it. Hey, break. Break. Good. You got it. So, couple of things here. Was you're coming from a more softer, nurturing place, and I'm coming from like an uplifting, you did it, right? Kind of like football player, very heavy, padding, making sure I bring that head up like this, okay? Because if you feel bad about the moment, I can see it, right? Like just like, oh, you're so, like you feel bad for her because how she is, you know what I'm saying? And that just keeps the cycle going, okay? So that's one part of it. The other part of it is, I'm having to teach you to obviously work with your dog. So we started low, we were working our way up, and you're doing all that great. But now she's getting stuck. And what happens is the brain will pick up on that pattern of 70, 75, 80. So as soon as at the door, when you went to 120, she finally moved forward, I go, okay, she's pretty locked up. So then when I took her 60, 75, 90, 105 very quickly. So the first time I made her walk fast. Then I went down to 70, and then she locked up again. And I went straight to 115, and boop, she went forward. And after that one, she was moving no problem. Because I went 70 to 115 like that. So now there's no window.
Oh, got it. So she knows, like, she's
correct.
Waiting. She knows I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, and it buys her time. And you might think like, well, like why? It's uncomfortable. It's dog logic. I see it happen all the time. Okay, so when she figures out like, wow, Jessie doesn't even give me that 30-second window that I like to take, it's now a split-second window. The brain doesn't want to stall anymore. Okay, because it's going to kick in right away with 115. So she wants to avoid 115. Now she starts moving.
So when we start walking, I come out in the morning, let's say she goes to the bathroom, and she's like, I don't want to go. Do I start at 60 and then go to 90?
Whatever your typical range has been, So I just did 70 because I feel like that's what I remember her hovering around. And then I just saw that earlier it was like 105 or whatever at the door to get her to move, or 120. So I noted that. So then right off the bat, when I started seeing you work with her, I was like, I know what we're struggling with now. Is now she's just taking that window. So I wouldn't go to 90, I'd probably just go to 105 and 15.
So 71, 120 to start.
Yeah. Or like let's say for the first lockup, you can do 70, 85, 100, 115. Like you go in and jumps to 15 now. So and it was like 70, tap, 85, 100, 115. Like it was within seconds I was there.
You were going fast.
Yes. And then once you figure out like, oh, it's 115, the next time she locks up, 115. I don't even go 70, 85, 100, 115. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is she going to wear out 127? And is she going to get...
I've had it happen before, but then there's always continuous. But then, but then if I do continuous, you have to go down lower. So then it would be 70. Then but it's super, super, super rare that I'd have to do that to break a dog at a lockup. Okay. So the other thing is when I was moving, just very assertive. Just now we're walking because she picks up off of you. You get what you give. Okay. So if you give soft energy, it's not empowering for her. Does that make sense? If I'm just like, heel, boom, we're moving. Okay, we're doing this? Yes, we are. Right? And then the number, like, the pressure that I put behind it helps her, just push forward. Okay? So then she started to open up. And then this sit is now much more relaxed. Obviously uncomfortable, right? But much more relaxed. We have that nice up. Her face is up. Just like with people. What does this look like? Right? As opposed to this. Right? So all those things, it's not just the tool. You yourself are also, and then the most important part of it, right? What you're projecting and what you're giving and all that stuff is affecting her as well. That's why I tell people don't ever feel bad about this, because if the dog sees you feel bad about this, then they're going to feel bad about it as well. Okay? So here you go. And here we are. And let's try it again. So you're going to step to her side. And forward, heel. Yep.
Good girl. Turn.
Yep. Good turn. And just go ahead and come to a stop. Good. Tip. And wait right there. Good. And praise. Atta girl. Good job. And heel. Good. Good turn and slow to stop.
Okay.
Tip.
Is that good?
Tip. Tip. A little bit of butt pressure there on the hand pressure on the butt. Tip. Be careful. There she is. Atta girl. Good job. And do one more.
Heel. Do I say heel every time we start walking?
Yeah, from stationary to motion.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Almost. Yep, and then a little bit of hand pressure. Good, atta girl. Praise. Good job. Good. So go ahead and just pivot. Yep, there you go. That's fine. And what I'm gonna have you here do again is reposition the sit, or the sitting position. There you go. Tip. And almost tip. A little bit of hand pressure on the hindquarters. There you go. Good. And then relax. Yep, that's fine. And see what she does.
Not really sit.
Yeah, so then we're gonna put some more pressure. Yep. We're gonna be strict on this. Yep. There we go. Atta girl. Good job. Very good. So here, the moving part is good. Okay. So it was just you just got stuck in terms of the number, in terms of going up higher and going up higher more quickly.
Yep.
And that's what I would expect because everything has been in gradual increase, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, we might see what you saw here, which is the lockup.
Yeah.
So then I go, okay, I'm gonna have to escalate faster now.
Yeah.
Okay. Until eventually, you might find that maybe every walk she always starts the lockup, and it's always 115 that unlocks her.
Okay.
Then if I pick up that pattern, then instead of trying to dial it up, I just go to 115.
Okay.
But then once you open her up that way, technically everything should just settle.
Okay.
And then over time, ideally, it's just you just go for a walk.
Okay.
So, not uncommon. The sitting part, because we just covered that last week and she was having such a hard time with it,
Yeah.
I would expect her to be about here. Okay?
Okay.
And then once we got that first part done of getting her unlocked and just moving forward, the sitting became easier.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's the first step. If she doesn't want to move forward, then most likely you're not going to even get her to put her butt down.
Huh.
Okay? So questions on that?
No.
So what we're going to work on here, there's a couple more things, just heel-wise, like a couple formalities, and those are the turns,
Okay.
because you're not always going to be turning to your immediate right.
Yeah.
So we have the crossover turn, and then we have the pivots, okay? You've been doing the pivots anytime she passes you. So when she would go like this, you were doing this, and then you were tapping to go this way, right? So the crossover turn is because you're going to be crossing over Tessie, okay? So a lot of people, when they do this turn, will lead it with their left leg, and you want to lead it with your right leg,
Okay.
okay? And I'm going to show you all this stuff. When we do this turn, we always want to slow down, of course, to stop prior to the turn. You're going to cut in front of her, sharp 90-degree angle with your right foot, okay? Then your left leg, and you're going to cut in again with your right leg. Now you're going back the opposite way, okay? So if I use this little box here, and if if you're on the sidewalk, this lines up really well with the sidewalk, is on that corner, if I turn and I step and turn, now I'm going back the opposite way. You see that? So it's real simple, and in the beginning, it's kind of awkward and stoic to help you get the hang of it, but you want to make sure that when you turn, you are turning at a 90-degree angle, okay? A lot of people tend to do a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is the dog's here, then they step out, then they kick the dog out, okay? When we cut in front of her, what happens is when they slow down, it allows them to see this. They don't want to collide, so they'll turn with you, allowing you to just make that complete crossover turn, okay?
Yeah.
The other turn is the pivot, pretty simple. You slow down, and we go forward with the left, back on the right, forward with the left. Now we're going the opposite way, okay?
Okay.
So left, right, left.
Okay. And why is that one different than just turning?
Because this is when she's paying attention.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're the same turn technically, but if Tessie's already ahead of you, you wouldn't do this, okay? You would just turn, because she's not paying attention or she's spooked. This is when she is paying attention, So you are actually already doing this. Most people to do this naturally, and then I tell them to do it intentionally, and then they get all screwed up. Okay. So when she's doing a good job of walking with you, you would do left, right, left to communicate with her what you're doing. Okay? Because you know when you're going to cross over, you know when you're going to pivot, you know when you're going to stop, you know when you're going to speed up. You know all that preemptively. She does it. So last week we put the word heel to it, and typically it would be the heel, the auto sits, and these turns all in one class. But since she was locking up with the sits, we spent the time working on that, right? So this is the last bit of heel, so that when you're walking with Tessie, if you have to make that left turn, it's not like ordeal. If your communication is correct and she's being mindful and following your lead, it should be a very simple just turn. Okay, so I'm going to coach you through this. So again, we have the crossover, which is going to be right, left, right. And then we have the pivot, which is going to be left, right, left. Okay, so you're leading with the foot opposite to the turn. Okay, so we're going to start with the crossovers first. You're going to say heel, you're going to move forward to the left leg, and then we're going to make sure that you slow down prior to that turn, and you're just going to time it so that you're crossing 90-degree angle with that right leg. Okay? So when you're ready, heel. Now slow down, right, left. It's okay, you got it. So give her a little bit of slack here. There you go, that's good right there. Yep. And then tap, tap, tap. What are you at?
70.
All right, 110. Tap, tap, tap. 120. Tap, 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 tap. A little bit more pressure. Tap, tap, tap. You got it. There you go. Good girl.
Good girl.
And then dip down to your 70.
Okay.
And get ready for that right, left, right. Right, left, and then right again.
So I use right again?
Yeah. So so it's right, left, right. On that second right, you're already turning. You're already going the opposite way. So you took 2 steps extra. Mhm. Yep. Left. There you go. Perfect. Let's try 4 more like that. Perfect. 3 more. Good. Yep. And then 1 more. All right. And you're going to slow down to a stop. Good. Yep. Tap. 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 Almost. Almost. A little bit of hand pressure. You get a girl. Good job. Praise. Good. So now you're going to do the pivots. That's going to be the left, right, left. Okay?
And that's kind of this way.
Exactly. So it's the 180 turn, but now you're actually communicating it. Okay? So then you're going to precede it with a slow down as well. Okay? Heel. Yeah, the girl. Good job.
Is that right?
I actually didn't see some. We'll see how the next one looks. Yes, that was good. A little bit of a slowdown prior. Very good. Let's try 3 more. Good. 2 more. Last one. Good. And then slow to a stop. Almost. And then just a little bit of guidance, a little bit of pressure on the hindquarters. There we go. Atta girl. Good job. Good. That was not too bad. Good. So she locked up again, right? And then you just went to that 120, or I think was it 127?
Yeah.
And then she just right away just forward, right?
Okay.
So as long as she's not going, right, chances are we're not going to get that big reaction. Why she's locking up? I mean, it could be because we're indoors and like all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Who knows? I just know that if the dog locks up, to unlock them. Okay. Most people tend to worry about the why, and I worry about like how do I get them out of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if ever that ever happens, just don't worry about why she's locking up. Just think to yourself, I need to get her out of this. Okay? Because that's ultimately what's going to help her.
Have you seen dogs do that?
Lock up?
Yeah.
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, she's an extreme case. You know, usually dogs will lock up because of the e-collar, because it's pressure and stressful. So they try to shut down, and then after that, it's easy peasy.
Okay.
But you already had a dog that did that just because of environmental reasons,
Okay.
right? So all that to me adds up to like this stuff happening. Okay. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it because things could always be worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions on this?
Yep.
So pretty straightforward.
Yep.
So because she's a softer energy, when you're doing those crossovers, like she was stopping, right, which is perfectly fine.
Okay.
She doesn't have to do anything specific other than just to move with you.
Okay.
Okay. So some dogs, when you pivot, will just naturally pivot and just keep turning with you.
Yep.
Some dogs will stop, and then once you complete it, will just whip around and turn with you. Other dogs will actually sit down, and then when you complete the turn, will actually turn.
Okay.
All those things are fine. I just care that the dog turns
That's
with you.
it.
Okay?
Okay.
So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you go through all those turns randomly.
Okay.
Okay, you pick and choose. If your communication is correct and she's walking at your side,
Yep.
there should be no real need for remote because
Okay.
everything's being communicated with your legs.
Okay. got
Okay?
it. Yep.
Questions?
Nope.
All right.
All right, Beth. Ready to go? Okay.
Yep.
Deal.
Good. Don't forget to slow down.
Okay.
Yes. That was good. That's fine. Good. Good pivot.
I didn't slow down enough.
Yeah, you didn't slow down the last one either. But you did slow down for your crossover. There you go. Good.
Like 4 steps slow?
Yeah, at least 3 more is fine. There you go. Nice pivot. Good job. Uh-huh. This is okay? Yep. There she goes. Good. Stop for a little sniff. That's fine. Yep. Good pivot. Just do a couple more. Mm-hmm. Good. And last one. Very good. That was correct. You were good. And slow down to a stop. Good. Yep. Yep. What's your number right now?
I'm at 71.
Let's go 85. And we're gonna see if we can get her to do it with just the taps here. Tap. There we go. So, praise. What we're gonna try now is I'm gonna have you do 3 more heel, well actually here, up, tip. Go down to 77.
Okay.
Up on your leash. Let me just take a look here. I'm gonna accept that for now.
Okay.
It's a squatting sit. Now we're gonna up, because now the up is coming up. Tip,
Yes.
tip, tip. 81. Tip, There we go. Now relax.
Good girl. Good girl.
So I'm removing how much aid we're giving her,
Yep.
because then you're always going to have to do this motion.
Right.
Is we're going to try just a few heels to sits. Don't worry about the turns.
Okay.
And when you come to a stop, we're going to see if we can get her to sit using just the remote and the leash.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Heel.
Yeah. Wait a moment. There she goes. Add a girl.
Good girl.
Yep, that's okay. We'll accept that for now.
Here, good girl, Tess. Good girl. Good girl.
Good.
Okay. Heel.
Okay. Now wait a moment. Right. Now here. Yep. Go ahead and
Is that okay?
wait a moment. Now praise. Now when you get up, I'm gonna have you wait a second. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Now wait. Because the last time you got up, she stood up too.
Oh, she did. Oh, she's got to wait.
She's got to wait. Okay. So the reason why we're being more strict is it's because it's going to give you more opportunities to remote. And when I get a dog like Tessie here, I use every single opportunity to get that remote in, because that's what's going to help her brain counteract herself.
Okay.
Okay. We tend to give windows or opportunities so that because we feel bad about the remoting aspect of it, and then the dog stays stuck.
Okay.
Okay. So if I get up and she gets up right away, boom, I'm kicking in immediately.
Make it fit.
Correct. To reinforce that position.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to try one more, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Okay. Heel. Girl, Tess.
Yeah. Right. Much better.
Oh, good
Look at that. Good girl.
Good, Tessie. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Excellent. Questions on that?
No, that makes sense.
So what I would do here is to get these to be more consistent is when you go out for your walk, you can start with the potty break or whatever that routine is. And then before you even go on your walk, you have a couple things to work on. One is going to be to get the turns into your muscle memory. I start with 5 heels to left turns, and then 5 heels to pivots.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
just to get that into your muscle memory. Yes.
Okay.
And then because the hard part is going to be, I'm walking with Tessie, and we're going to turn left at the stop sign.
Yeah.
Because then you have to time everything. Okay.
Okay.
Once you get used to it, you don't even think about it anymore.
Okay.
So then once you've memorized them, you don't have to worry about practicing anymore. You just apply them.
Okay.
To get these sits to be more consistent, you could do like a short, 3 to 5 minute session.
Okay.
Not even going that far. Just heel, few steps, remoting for the sit, heel, remoting, right? Because you're trying to do repetition, and then you go on your walk.
Okay.
Okay, and then you apply them as you go along. If it's too cold or snowy or whatever, it's fine. If we let that go, I would just expect in the springtime, she's probably going to digress. It's going to be more difficult.
Right.
The foundation is there. You're probably going to have to bump it and then use the hand to help guide her.
Yeah.
And then once you bring it back into her routine, she should build the muscle memory. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you do the sit with the heel, we don't say sit.
Okay.
Okay, because it's built into the command.
Okay.
So heel means walk with me, stay with me, and sit when I stop.
Okay.
Okay. So right now she's not in the sit command; she's in the heel because you stopped,
Oh, okay.
and this is part of it.
Okay.
And people get really confused with that because they look at the dog like, oh, the dog's sitting. Like actually, the dog's in the heel, and that's built into the command.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a little formality. Otherwise, if you always say sit, it'll be heel, sit, heel, sit, heel, sit. So then technically, if you don't say sit, she doesn't have to do it.
Okay.
Okay? And it's supposed to be automatic. Okay? Questions on that?
No.
So we're going to start working on the recall,
Okay.
which is come when called.
Okay.
Okay? And recall tends to take people the longest to train because it requires you to go somewhere because you have to have the space. And then also, like, she has to, like, be open enough to, like, leave your side and stuff. Which, if she's with dogs, she'll go and she'll play, correct? But then if it's just you with her at the park, does she wander at all or no?
I don't take her, I just take her to the dog park.
Okay.
Right now, I'm not taking her to a park.
Sure.
Unless there's a bunch of dogs, and then she wants to run, but she's on this one leash.
Sure.
And she pulls, and the other dogs are off leash, so.
It tangles everybody up.
Yeah, I just don't do it. And then if I take her off the leash, that's when she runs with the car and she can get hit.
Sure.
So
Okay.
I've just taken her to the dog park.
Sure. So with this exercise, it'll allow you to essentially build up to having her in that setting without having to worry about that.
Okay.
Now the one factor that you're going to have to consider is that flight response. Okay. Now, when we work with her today, we might see her try to book it, which is part of the process, but that's why we do this exercise as well. It's because I want to, if she tries to go into flight mode, we want to correct it and teach her that flight is not an option. If you ever get spooked, if anything, run to me.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And then this is going to take time because you have to again go somewhere and then let her go on the long leash. And if she's dependent on dogs to like open up, then that makes things a little trickier. But we'll have to see how she does.
Okay.
So then after today, you go out to the park, put her on a long leash, and just let her be a dog if she wants to be a dog. And then, but you'd be holding on to the end of it. Okay?
Yeah.
So we use a long 30-foot leash. You wouldn't want to use your flexi. The flexi gives you very little control. Okay? So we have leashes here. You can get these on Amazon. They're like $8 to $12. Like this. Okay. So nothing fancy. It's essentially like the leash you have there, just a longer version.
Okay.
I think 30 feet is great.
So that one's 26.
That one that you have, the flexi?
Yeah.
The issue with flexi leashes is the handle makes it awkward to
Okay.
have control, okay, and to like do this exercise. And I'm going to show you this. This is pretty coordination heavy, but after you do a few reps, it's easy.
Okay.
Okay. So one thing is, what hand do you hold your remote in?
My right hand.
Your right hand. Okay. There we go. Okay. So if I have the remote in my right hand, I'm gonna have this leash over my right thumb.
Okay.
Okay. So I have my remote right here.
Okay.
Okay. So then I have the leash draped over my hand like this.
Okay.
Remote here. These 3 fingers are free.
Okay.
So this allows me to take the leash and throw it down as Tessie is coming to you.
Okay.
Okay, and this is going to make more sense as we go along. Okay, so the reason why we do this is a lock. Okay, if Tessie for some reason took off, as long as I have this like this, she cannot pull this out of my hand.
Okay.
People do this happens, or they'll do this, and then that happens.
Okay.
So as long as you got this here, this is called that trainer lock.
Okay.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
The other thing that we do is, if I'm shortening the leash, and like Tessie comes to me, is I take my hand like this over my finger, and then I clamp it like this. Okay. This also acts as a lock. So now I have 2 locks. Okay. So for whatever reason, she decided I'm gonna go. She can't go anywhere. If you
Okay.
try to hold the leash like this,
Yeah.
you're gonna get rope burn.
Okay.
Okay, because she's running away, it's feeding it through,
Yep.
and it's gonna rip right through your hand. I've had people try to do that. It sucks. You don't want to do that. So
Okay.
I instinctively, whenever I come to a stop, you'll always see me do this with the leash here to act as a secondary lock.
Okay.
The reason why we shorten this as Tessie's moving towards us is because if I leave this completely slack and she's running to me, she has 30 feet to go the other way.
Got it.
Okay? So if I keep this, and you don't need to shorten it all the way,
Yeah.
you're just like, like here.
Yeah.
Now she only has 12 feet.
Okay.
Okay, to make a mistake, making it easier to correct her to lead her back to me.
Okay.
Okay. The last bit of this is we're not going to use the word come right now. We're going to teach Tessie how to return to you using the e-collar. Okay.
Okay.
So what we do is if I'm at the end of the 30-foot leash, I put some tension on her, and you can see on her neck, right?
Yeah.
So very little tension, and here we start tapping. Okay. The moment I see Tessie moving towards me, I move backwards, and then I'm reeling in that leash.
Okay.
Okay? And then once she arrives, I come to a stop. I praise her, good girl. I wait a moment, break, and then we repeat.
So if she's on this long leash, she's not coming to me. I can't pull it in, so I've got to use this. Right?
You can pull a little to direct
a little
her,
bit,
but
if
you want the remote to be what makes her ultimately to come to you.
Okay.
And once you start doing it, it's gonna make more sense.
Yeah.
Don't worry about being perfect. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold the blue leash here.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you go ahead and go down to the end of the space here.
Okay.
Good. Good.
So,
Yes, like that. And then you have over your hand like this. Yep. And then you're just feeding it down the other way. So you had it correct. So over your hand like this. Yep. And then you're feeding it down like that. And then when you're ready, yes, that happens. Okay? Yep. So I'll have you go ahead and step down that way. Come here, girl. There we go. And this here is actually definitely too big.
I know, I can get it tighter.
You can't?
Oh, I can, yeah.
You can't? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bit more snug. We're gonna go down 2 notches.
Yep.
That's much better. Okay, so then we'll keep her here. Go ahead and go down to the end of your leash. There we go. So, and go ahead and just come in a little bit more forward. That's perfect. And then you're gonna just go ahead and take up that excess slack. Just throw that on the ground there. Throw it a little bit more, right there, okay? So when you start to pull and the tapping, while you're pulling, once you start to do that and Tess is moving to you, you're gonna walk backwards, okay?
Okay.
And I'll coach you through the rest, right? So pull, tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and bump it. What are you at right now? Tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and bump it. Tap, tap. There we go. Now reel it in. Backwards. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. Right there. Good. Yep, you got it.
Okay. And now do this.
Yeah, now hold. Yep, that's perfect. Wait a moment. Good. Go ahead and just praise her right there. That's fine. Good. And break. And what's your number now?
80.
Okay, we're gonna keep it there. Come here, you. Good girl. Tap, tip. That a girl. Good job. Good girl. Yeah. Come a little forward. It's good right there. And a little bit of tension. Tap, tap, tap. Reel in your leash. Tap. Add a girl right there. Wait a moment. Yep, and praise. Yeah. And break. Break, break, break.
Do I say break?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'll explain more of that as we go along. Good. Come a little forward. That's good right there. And wait a moment. And tap. Tap. Yep. Now back tap. There we go. Good girl. There she goes.
Good girl. Good girl. Oh, you're a good girl. Good girl.
That was a good one. That was a good speed.
Good girl.
Good. We'll do 2 more. Break.
Break.
Break, break, break. Break, break, break. Come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Good. Go forward. Tip. There we go. Good job. Wait a moment. She's gonna get a little jumpy because she's confused. Go ahead. Good. And back.
Good girl.
1, 2. That's good right there.
Okay. Good girl.
And praise. Add a girl. Good job.
Good girl.
Good. We're gonna do 1 more.
Good girl.
Break. Good. Good break. Come on. Break, break, break. Look at that. Look at you. Come on. There she goes. Good girl.
Good girl, Ted. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Very good. So what we're going to do here, same process.
Yep.
You're going to say, Tessie, come, then tap, and everything else is the same. Okay? Now, even if she were to start moving towards you, you're still going to tap at least once.
Okay.
Okay? Come on. Tip.
Tap.
Tip. Yeah, the girl. Good job. Look at you. Come on. Good girl.
So I say come.
Yep. Tessie, come, and then tap, and then everything is the same.
Tessie, come.
There you go. And then back. Yep, reel in your leash, tap. It's okay. There you go. Good job. Good girl. Look at that speed. Good girl.
Yep.
Excellent. And break.
Great.
Break. Break. Good job. Look at you. Come on. Good job.
Okay. Tessie, come.
Ooh, that was a good one. Look at that. Good job.
Tessie, good girl.
Now hold right there. Backwards. Tap. Go backwards.
Okay.
Tap. Right. Hold right there. Wait a moment. Backwards again.
Okay.
Tap. Tap. Keep backwards. Right there. Hold. There we go. And praise.
Oh, good girl, Tessie.
So
Good girl, lovey.
she was going to land close to you, but you started to close that gap, and you want her to come into you.
Okay.
Okay, so even if it's close, I want her in my immediate space.
Okay.
So if she lands like 2-3 feet away,
Yeah.
turn, tap, she needs to move all the way.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do a couple more. But that was a good, in the beginning when you called her, that was good. Good girl. Break. Yes, come on. Good girl. Good job. Good job. Okay.
Tessie, come.
Good. And back.
Good girl. Good
1,
girl.
2, 3. That's good. Tap back. Tap. There she goes. Wait a moment. That's good. And praise at a girl.
You're doing it. See, it's not so bad. Good girl, Tessie. Good girl. Oh, good girl.
Good. We're going to do one more. And then I'll go over homework and how we practice this.
Okay. Break.
Break, break, break. Yes. Good.
I gotta be sure I don't get wound up in this.
Yeah, I know. This is a messy command.
Okay. Tessie. Tessie, come. Come,
Tap.
Tessie.
Tap, tap, tap. A little bit of a pull. Tap, tap. There she goes.
Good girl.
Back.
Good girl, Tessie.
Right there. That's good.
Good girl. Good girl.
Now wait a moment. There she goes. Add a girl praise.
Girl, Tess, you did it. Good girl, baby. Good girl. Oh, you're a good puppy. Yes, you are. You're a girl. Oh, I know. You're so smart. Good girl.
Good.
Good girl.
Go ahead and just grab your short leash.
Okay.
And then go ahead and bring Tessie over here.
Should I say heel?
You can say heel. You can just walk with her. Doesn't matter. All right. That's good right there. Perfect. All right. So, sorry, we have to cram like half a class and a class in one. So that kind of went pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So this is important because, well, if she runs off, you need to have her be able to come back,
Yeah.
right? So the other thing for her, because her brain locks up, it's just another thing to work on to get her moving, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, moving to you.
Yeah.
80 was working really well. Her speed was good on the return. It was taking very little taps. The only reason that last one took so long was since she was between my legs, it was like a safe space for her.
Okay.
And she did, and then the con to the recall is the dog thinks going to or staying with the nearest person is like the answer, when really it's no, you come to me because I called you.
Okay.
So like if you're here, there's a person in the middle and Tessie's beyond that person, if you called her, she'd most likely go to that person.
Yeah.
Because she thinks the faster I get to somebody, the faster this goes away.
Okay.
So it's a very common problem. So that was part of the reason why she didn't want to leave me, because she was thinking, I'm right here with you. This is my safe space, okay?
Yeah.
But that was not the correct answer. So that's why I was like, pull a little bit more
Yeah.
and keep tapping to make her flush forward. So now she's thinking, I have to go to the voice
Yeah.
and not the nearest body,
Yeah.
okay? So your homework for this week, when you can, go to the park, whatever. Are you in Lincoln Park, Lakeview?
I live in Lakeview, but I'm just in Lincoln Park. There's a couple areas I know of that.
So like, I don't know, on the lakefront, by Inner Lakeshore,
Yeah,
there's the
Montrose.
golf, there's Montrose, and all that down is like nice open space.
Yeah.
Only thing is it does get kind of cold because it's closer to the lakefront.
Yeah.
But if there's a nice day by chance and you can take her there, I take her on the long leash, I hold on to the end of the handle, and I let Tessie be Tessie.
Okay.
Let her be a dog, okay? And whether or not she's uncomfortable with going away from you, or she's too comfortable in running around, you're trying to just get some kind of normalcy,
Okay.
If you're practicing solo, does she have any prey drive, like squirrels and rabbits?
No.
No? Okay. Does she have any interest in the environment, like sniffing stuff or anything like that?
At the dog park, we're good. In an open area, I haven't done it in a long time. When we did bust it in an open area, there were dogs, and she just takes off and starts running with them.
Mm-hmm.
If we're on our own, she might just sit with me.
Yeah.
Actually, so the answer is I don't know.
Sure.
In a big open area, I'm not sure what she's going to do. She might sit with me.
Okay. So what I would try is, if you go to the big open area, there's nothing there. It's just wander. Okay. Don't worry about heel. Hold the end of the leash in your hand and just walk.
Okay.
And see what Tessie does.
The long leash.
Yes, the long leash,
Okay.
right? And you might see she'll little by little sniff things. Just ignore her, just keep walking. Okay. So if she tends to hover around you, you may have to build the comfort of exploring.
Yeah.
And it's just going to take repetition of going there and repetition
Yeah.
until she opens up like if there were to be other dogs there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just going to be play it by ear.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you have someone who can help you, it's like this. We have one person with the short leash, other person with the long leash. Okay. So you can just drill the recalls.
Okay.
Now that manner of practicing is not realistic. Okay. Because typically when people call their dogs, they're chasing something, running away, or running after something they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's usually running and usually running away.
Yeah.
Okay. So this here is just for the foundation to teach Tessie that e-collar also means come to me as opposed to walk with me.
Practice it in my house.
You can.
Okay, I know it's not the same.
I know.
But if it's
Whatever
just
little bit
pouring
you
out
can.
and you wanna practice it.
Yes, you can do that stuff.
Okay.
It's just realistically speaking, I wouldn't do only that and then think, oh, this is going to work outside,
We
right?
haven't done it inside yet. We didn't do any practicing in the house last
Okay.
week at all.
Sure.
Yeah, we did everything outside.
Okay. So, do what you can with what with
Yep.
however the environment is. That's perfectly fine. And then I don't ever issue the come when called command if I can't make it happen. So let's say you take Tessie to the dog park to play, it's going to be too soon to try to use it. Because you have to build
Oh,
to
got
that,
it.
right?
Okay.
Because she's going to be running
Yeah.
and playing and chasing her friends and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Is you have to build to that
That's
level.
just a practice.
Exactly. The way we practice today, again, very bland environment, a little bit of distractions here.
Yeah.
So I always tell people it's a progression to the degree that you need to be functional.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think here. Everything stays the same. If she locks up, you just bump it on the collar and things like that. Definitely want to make sure that your collar is fit nice and snug.
Yeah.
Because the way it was looking earlier is that it could have popped off her head. The last thing you want is Tessie from 30 feet away to pop off that collar.
Yeah.
Okay. And the walking stuff. Now when you do the heel, you have the full package of heel. You have the cue, the word itself. You have the release command of break. We have the sits. They're looking much better. She even started sitting with the recalls. So if she does it by herself, praise, no need to remote.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see Tessie going into that sit, like she's going to do it by herself, I lay off the remote
Okay.
so she can start to process, oh, if I just put my butt down, I can avoid this.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's too cold out or it's snowed or whatever, I don't worry about it. And then chances are not till springtime
Okay.
because it's going to be too cold for her to put her butt down.
Okay.
Right.
So do we try it still outside?
I mean, it's still fairly decent.
Yeah.
If she does a hovering sit, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Earlier was just doing the squatting sit.
Yeah.
I was fine with that too. just because part of that is just the brain.
Yeah.
When the dogs squat like this, they're just not comfortable.
Okay.
But then the repetition is actually how we build comfort.
Okay.
Okay. So do what you can in the time that we have of like decent weather. And now you have the formal left and right turns.
Yeah.
So you just start employing those during the walks. Remember to start your walk practicing each of those turns at least 5 times
Okay.
to build up your muscle memory, and then start your walk.
Okay.
And don't forget to slow down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions?
No, I think I can do it. And all of this is on the tape, right? So the
Yes,
video,
yes.
So I can go back and hear
Yes,
it.
and I've been doing, because my media guy, he's out, so
Yeah.
I've been doing it myself. So
I got number 1, I think, is on.
yeah, and 2 is on too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be up there. So if you
Okay.
just look up Tessie, because at the end of the night, I've been going and doing
Okay.
the videos.
Okay.
So these will import tonight, and then tomorrow they'll most likely be up by end of day or morning of Thursday. Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Good job.
Yeah.
She's coming along. I mean, she's very much a shutdown dog,
Yeah.
but here she's opening up much faster now that
Yeah.
we've covered just your energy
Yeah.
of how you walk with her and things like that.
Yeah.
Jumping to that number much more quickly now.
Yeah.
So we don't give her that long 5-minute window
Yeah.
to finally get her to move.
Yeah.
You can also add a little bit more pressure on the leash to help
Yeah.
guide her a bit. I just don't
Okay.
want you to drag her.
Right.
Ultimately, the remote needs to get her to pop forward.
Okay.
But other than that, we went from 115, 120 to unlock her to like 80.
Yeah.
And she was sitting pretty consistently with the 80. And she was also doing really good with the recall
Yeah.
on the 80 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so all that looked good.
Okay. And this is just nerves coming out?
Oh yeah, nerves from all the pressure, nerves from like trying to lock up and not being allowed to. So